Greetings and welcome back. We're having a little conversation about the NHS. This is early summer 2023 and we're looking forward to the autumn, October, November, where the NHS pension statements are going to land, Peter.
Allegedly, John.
Allegedly. Well, I mentioned to you that it could be December. But we're expecting some of those statements to be coming through at some point later on in the year, and we're beginning to get ourselves prepared for that, including preparing our calculator, doing the calculations. So we've got the calculator to compare what the NHS is saying for our clients. But also, Peter, I think the territory where we naturally operate, as I was just describing, we are naturally operating in the space where the calculator is a bit like the foundation. It's not what we're about, the calculator really. But what the calculator outputs is the options that are available for the client. So, what's your pension worth? What's your normal retirement date? If you want to retire early, tax-free cash. It's then allowing us to help the client make an informed decision. And there's two other things I wanted to add on to that. One was the change this year in the budget, which affects, again, public sector workers going forward. And also, again, one of the things from the budget is the sequencing of that decision making.
That's right, John. So the first point you make there is about a new easement in annual allowance that the Chancellor announced, which is basically public sector offsetting. Now, we're still waiting for the legislation to come out on that, but in essence, they're going to, if I just deal with the NHS just for a moment.
Yeah, use that as an example, but this is across the public sector. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what they're basically saying is that the accrual in respect of the 1995 scheme and the accrual in respect of the 2015 scheme, prior to the budget in previous years, the pension input amounts were added together and compared to the standard annual allowance or the tapered annual allowance, and an annual allowance charge was paid. However, what they now intend doing is that they intend treating both schemes separately and offsetting a negative balance against a positive balance. Now, the viewers might be wondering, how on earth are you going to get a negative value in the schemes? Well, what the viewer needs to understand is that the consumer price index, the CPI for the 23-24 tax year, is 10.1%. And so therefore, the balance that is the opening balance for the 1995 scheme will increase by that figure. And therefore, because you're not an active member in 2023-2024 in terms of length of service, but only in respect to salary, there could be a possibility that that will be a negative balance because of the size of CPI. And that negative balance could be offset against a positive balance in respect to the 2015 scheme.
Yeah, because I think it's important that although we're saying they're treated separately, they're actually joined.
That's correct.
So for public sector only,
yes,
public sector only, the government is quite clearly saying, you know, we're trying our best to look after you.
That's right, and we said that in one of the earlier ones as well.
Yeah. The budget in March 2023 could have been called the NHS budget or the public sector budget.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
But that's a whole different ballgame.
I think the other point that we've been discussing for some time now since the budget is all to do with the sequence of benefits and how what we would refer to as mixed benefits, somebody with DB benefits and DC benefits who may have, prior to the 15th of March 2023, had an LTA issue. What do you think about that, John?
Yeah, I think that's interesting, Peter, in the clients that we've seen, or as I say, you know, our clients may well be legal firms, accountancy firms that have got clients with NHS pensions, they want some guidance, or direct clients that are coming to us for guidance. And what I'm seeing, Peter, is that a lot of these clients have multiple ranges of income. So you've got NHS pensionable income, you've got NHS non-pensionable income, you've got dividend income potentially coming from their own private limited companies where they're doing private work. They've got other types of income. They've maybe got buy-to-lets and rentals and other bits and pieces. Now, what comes with that is potentially then different types of pensions. So they may well have occupational NHS pensions. They may also have other pension benefits that their private limited company has been funding for them. So what we're seeing is a range of mixed income and then therefore mixed benefits that are coming through. And as a result of the budget, the way in which you take your benefits could have quite a significant implication on the value that you receive out the other end.
So what you're saying there, John, then, is that the attitude prior to the 15th of March in respect of potentially leaving or crystallising just up to the lifetime allowance, careful consideration needs to be made post the 15th of March because of the fact that the income charge in respect of the LTA excess has been removed.
Absolutely. So if I take just as a simple example, but obviously every client needs to look at this carefully, as every advisor and every accountant has to. But if I've got DC benefits and DB benefits, I'm in the past, I might have been very careful about how I took those DB benefits and DC benefits. But maybe now, Peter, what I may want to think is, I'm maybe not so worried about that DB being excess LTA. Because I'm not going to see a reduction on that. And I don't have to commute on a pretty poor basis.
12 to 1.
12 to 1. You know, that's not fantastic value. I maybe want to commute from my DC benefits on a 1-to-1 basis.
Yes.
And take my excess benefits against my excess LTA through my occupational pension and limit the amount of tax-free cash that I'm having to pay through the nose for.
So, John, would you agree then some of the considerations in that situation, back to personal scenarios, personal objectives?
Absolutely. Every time, Peter.
Health?
Every time. Health, yes.
How much tax-free cash do you want?
Yeah. Do you need the tax-free cash? What's going to happen to the tax-free cash? Have you got a purpose for the tax-free cash? Well, you've heard me saying a few times before, Peter, you know, what's the plan?
Absolutely.
What do you want to do? You know, what is the plan? What are you doing here?
So the key ingredient in this is personal scenarios, personal circumstances, and understanding what the commutation is under the final salary scheme and the value, the actual value that that is giving you, and the defined contribution scheme.
But doing it in the right order, Peter.
Absolutely.
Needs some consideration, need to reflect. So just going to finish off this little series of videos on the public sector. I think what may appear to be a simple decision when you receive the benefit statements through the post come October, saying, do you want option A or option B? It's not going to be quite as easy as that.
Data, analysis, evaluation.
And then decide. Absolutely. See you in the next video.